All right, next up, this dude, another, I enjoy his poetry. He popped into the hall a few years back, and I think I asked him to do a feature that same night. We didn't reach out a whole lot to the out-of-town folks, because I knew it was going to happen. We did a festival in January, and we ended up with 63 poets, and I love the poetry, but I just don't think I could have handled it. So we kind of pretty much kept it to the people who were in town, and we still ended up 30-some poets. But Josh, being one of the voices that I enjoy hearing, I'm sure I reached out to him, or maybe he reached out to me, looking, seeing what was happening. So we wanted to make sure that we got him on the schedule, and so that your audiences could hear his voice. So give it up for Josh Romig.
Awesome. A lot of great voices up today. A lot of this is going to be newer stuff. I haven't performed it live ever. It's from the collection that I'm working on. This first one's called Nunya. Let me draw you a Venn diagram. The circle over here represents the sum total of my beeswax. It is solid, most of it. Some of it not so much. All of it is mine. This circle way over here, that's your beeswax. Notice how the circles do not overlap. We are not beeswax partners. We are not in beeswax together. We aren't even in the same beeswax separately. Yours is your own, and mine is mine. So let me ask you, why are you all up in my beeswax? Got your nose tilted into the air looking down at my beeswax. I did not invite you to poke, sniff, lick, or otherwise analyze my beeswax. I don't crowdsource my beeswax criticism. But as long as we're talking shop, let me say this. I handle my beeswax. My honey is golden and sweet. My hive is healthy. You need not worry about me. My beeswax is good. You, on the other hand, I can see from here, your honey is dim and almost burnt orange. Your hive is on the brink of colony collapse. That should worry you, because that is not at all good for beeswax. I would suggest you take preemptive measures. In short, mind your own. Tend your garden, as they say. But I won't meddle any further. As I said before, your beeswax is none of mine. I wrote this poem at work because this machine just goes and basically does its own thing, so I had a lot of free time. The machine at work hisses, pops, and splatter spits. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to dispense glue in a thin string around the perimeter of this plastic part, but several times a day it does this. Disengages my autopilot, snaps me out of my waking coma, makes me swap the glue tube, recalibrate the path, press the button once, twice, wait for the beep, and once again for good measure. Then back to my scheduled programming, waiting, watching, writing poems on the side of my skull like an abstract cave painting. Picking dried glue from the bad parts of yesterday. I'm 7 again, making spider webs in empty pencil boxes, a fourth of Elmer's creatively drizzled in quirky shapes, set inside my cubbyhole overnight. I made the best spider webs. I was delicate when lifting them like secrets from their chamber, careful not to break the narrow connections that hold it all together, but quick too, so nobody sees it. I didn't want a teacher to seize it or the other kids to laugh at me for having a weird hobby, although in retrospect, it's not the oddest thing I've been known to do. Hiss, pop, spit, shit. Oh, what's wrong with you now? Now, I'm on my lunch break, sifting through pictures on social media, finding one posted by my sister of me at age 2. Doing that thing I do with my hands, thumb pressed into my right palm. I do it frequently whenever I'm excited or nervous or in an argument or in line at a comic book movie, or meticulously analyzing song lyrics. I'm a dweeb, don't I know it? Although it took me too long to own it. They say every 7 years you're a new man, every skin cell shed, every blood cell dead, replaced, refreshed. They say the only thing connecting me to the kid in this image is a fiction that I tell myself over and over again. And maybe that's true. Maybe the only thing holding me to the past is a thin string of glue. Yester-me might have found that thought revitalizing, but now me finds it utterly terrifying. What if a car accident stole my memories? Would what I become still qualify as me? Will I still do that thing with my hands and still fondly pick at dried glue? Will I still write the way I've always written without that thin string of experiences behind me that I've learned to call my life? That's assuming I have the itch, the urge to write it all. Hiss, pop, spit. What's wrong with you now? Everything defenestrated. And the word defenestrated is really funny. It means to throw something out the window. The newly emptied hoarder's house feels lonely. There are clean squares of carpet marking where boxes were obsessively stacked in neat high towers. The backyard is full of rain-ruined childhood keepsakes, blurred Polaroids of ghosts, and too many boxes of ink-bleeding love letters never sent. Our highways are littered with stories of what could have been, shattered against the cruel asphalt of the stubborn, perpetual now. We are all victims of nostalgia, cobbling together this makeshift self from what remains of who we were yesterday. But memory is often misremembered, and history is a book with too many missing chapters and unreliable narrators. Despite our best efforts, we are not at all good at keeping things. The newly emptied hoarder's house feels hopeful. The foyer is no longer unusable. You can breathe in and not gag on the thick atmosphere of ammonia. The front yard has freshly cut grass for the first time in forever. We can see the garden. We can see where a garden could grow. There is a swing set out there, the chains that are rusted from years of neglect. We know it's not unfixable. Nothing is unfixable. We are all survivors of the past, given a choice every day about what to keep and what to throw away, about who we are today and what relationship we will have with the things we have left on the endless road behind us. Tomorrow is a terrifyingly perfect white page screaming at us all, daring us to make a mark upon it. Take up the challenge, make new, but remember as you do that we are not at all good at keeping things, because things aren't meant to be kept. Send your love letters while there is still love in them. The newlyweds' first house feels like possibility. This is the poem that got into the anthology, and is probably the reason why C's going to make fun of me forever, because it was way too long. They told me 1 page, but I didn't see that until after I submitted it. So it's called All American. I am all American. American as apple pie flavored hookah smoke, candy-coated cancer sticks, double bacon cheeseburgers, bacon, vodka, and quick fix diets. I am all American. As American as county fairs, elephant ears, cotton candy, tractor pulls, and country music. As American as block parties, ice cream trucks, backyard barbecues, sidewalk chalk, hip-hop, and hopscotch. I am all American. As American as success stories, as montages set to classic rock and triumphant underdogs. As American as ramen noodles for a month straight. As late rent, as eviction notices, locked doors and keys that no longer open them, as stray dogs begging for their lives as the city puts them down. I am all American. As American as Saturday morning cartoons, and Sunday mass, and mass murder in Sunday schools, and Monday morning announcements, and moments of static silence. I am all American. As American as booming Silicon Valley and crumbling Detroit. As American as the moon landing and the Trail of Tears. As slave-owning freedom fighters fathering our nation. I am all American. As American as hunger strikes and hunger pains. As American as hope that persists against all costs and escape at all costs. I am all American. As American as Southern hospitality, as police brutality, as color blindness, blind spots, and political incorrectness, as American as trigger warnings and trigger fingers. I am all American as stop and frisk policies, as dead children, as grieving mothers, and white-hot guilt sitting corrosive inside an officer's gut. As American as I swear to God I thought he had a gun. I am all American. As American as dreadlocks and mullets, as deadbolts and bullets, as fireworks and drone strikes. I am free and in debt. I am privileged and yet left wanting. I am a patchwork quilt made of the world's scraps, a union divided in more ways than there are breaths in a lifetime. Parts of it are ugly. You will want to look away, but you should not. Isn't it beautiful how we constantly seem to be on the verge of falling apart, but somehow manage to hold ourselves together? I am all American. How much more time do I got?
One more?
Yeah, just one more. It's a footnote to All American. I wrote it after the Orlando shooting. It's called Footnote to All American, or Erie, Orlando, or What the Hell, America. Their bodies had yet to cool into corpses, and their phones were still ringing in their pockets, with mothers, brothers, sisters, fathers, sons, and daughters on the other ends of those ropes, holding on to wholly hopeless, holy hope. The whole city of hearts were suspended mid-beat, and the news was already blathering about what this might mean for the upcoming election. Is this where we've arrived? Is this what we've become, so comfortably numb that we follow a script, we know it by heart, we point our fingers so righteous and smart and scream about walls and quarantine, about them and us, we sharpen our tongues to duel about guns and their rights, but somehow forget that the first act in this play is supposed to be one of empathy. What happened to us? Once united in the dust of fallen buildings, now, in the face of another catastrophe, we can barely shed a tear as we ready for another uncivil war. I watch this all play out again and again. This poem was written about what happened in Orlando, but it could as easily been about any of them. The ones that we've already stopped hashtagging about, and the ones still beyond the horizon. I can't help but wonder if future students of 21st century tragedy will mix up dates and numbers like we do with Revolutionary War battles. Was Sandy Hook about the black church or the gay nightclub? Was Trayvon killed by a cop or a radical Muslim extremist? Was that the one with the white lone wolf or the brown domestic terrorist? Who said, "I can't breathe," and what was the context? I forget. I'm going to fail this test. We are failing this test, America. We are letting the fear into our bones. We are letting it boil into anger. We are cooking ourselves alive. They told us the recipe time and time again. How are we still in their cauldron with their broth acting like we think it's bathwater, like it's going to clean off the blood from our hands? Haven't we learned this lesson too many times already? Aren't you tired? I know I am.